He did it again, everybody. That's correct. Tom Cotton is at it a motherfucking again. So this stupid motherfucker did a little rant on DC statehood, and I just want to read it to you. I was going to look for the video, but then I was like, you know what? I have this right here. Why spend like 5 minutes looking for the video when I could just read it? You know, if you're watching my channel and you haven't clicked off already, you don't need to see video content. You can see me read a speech and then go from that. Senator Cotton on DC statehood. Dems want 2 new Democratic senators in perpetuity. The Democrats are angry at the American people for refusing to give them total control of the government for going on a decade now, so they want to give the swamps as many senators as your state has. They want to make Washington a state to rig the rules of our democracy and try to give the Democratic Party permanent power. But in doing so, the Democrats are committing an act of historical vandalism as grotesque as those committed by Jacobin mobs roaming our streets. I love to see it. Washington has just over 700,000 residents, more than Wyoming and Vermont, and about as many as Alaska. Doesn't this qualify Washington as a state? Well, if it did, we need a lot more states, because Washington is just the 20th largest city in the country. Yes, Wyoming is smaller than Washington by population, but it has 3 times as many workers in mining, logging, and construction. Random fucking jobs that I just pulled out of my asshole to make me seem like my argument's actually functionable. And 10 times as many workers in manufacturing. In other words, Wyoming is a well-rounded working-class state. You ever think about North and South Dakota? You ever think about Montana? You ever think about Wyoming? You ever think about California? You ever think about Texas? You ever think about, fucking Vermont? You ever think about Maine? You ever think about these stupid-ass fucking states where the lines are just made up to be garbage, right, for no fucking reason? There is absolutely no reason that D.C. is not a state. If you live in Washington, D.C., you have less rights, electorally speaking, than people living in Maryland. When I lived in the D.C. metropolitan area, I lived in a Maryland suburb right outside of the city. Like, literally, I could walk across the border from Maryland to D.C. And it's incredible how the suburbs all around D.C. are where the rich people live. Why? Because in Virginia and Maryland, you can vote for 2 senators. You can vote for a governor. You can vote for congresspeople. And you can't in D.C. So the D.C. is where they concentrate a lot of the poor people. Poor people around the city, right? And then the city center is where they have like the rich bureaucratic apartments and the office buildings and all that crap and all the fast food restaurants where all the poor people work and stuff, right? And then there's like a ring thing. In the middle, you got the rich fuckers. And then the first outer ring is where all the poor people are. And then on the other outer ring is where all the the snobby, I want to vote for senators people are. Now, obviously, there's some exceptions. Not every border city or border suburb is like high class, upper class. But for the most part, in my experience, roaming around these streets in Washington, that is the case. And the reason is because, again, D.C., they live with taxation without representation. That's their slogan on their license plates, which I find it pretty catchy. But I've also got a good rebuttal to that. Wyoming is also a mostly white state. D.C. would be the only plurality black state in the country if admitted, just in case anyone wanted to know what the Republican opposition to D.C. statehood is actually about. Again, Wyoming is a fucking state. Why? North and South Dakota are states? Why? It's because it is a manipulation, a targeted manipulation of our federal government by Republicans. And it's disgusting how Republicans like Tom Cotton will try to say Democrats are trying to do this, when in reality they're the ones even more so trying to do that garbage. Again, why is California so big? California could easily be broken off into 5 or 6 states. Same with Texas. Texas could easily be broken off into a majority of blue states and then some red states. But why won't they? You know why? You know why, because people love the 50. Oof, the 50. And I'm not even going to talk about Puerto Rico. I don't know enough about Puerto Rico as far as independence and all autonomy versus statehood. I'll let them speak for themselves. D.C., on the other hand, easy choice. Give them the statehood. And if you want to do it like a big thing, break California up. Break Texas up. Merge North and South Dakota. I'd love to see it. But obviously Tom Cotton will not advocate for that because he's only advocating for his side of the political aisle, gerrymandering and destroying the country for their own good. If the other side, maybe they don't even want to do it. Maybe they just want to do it to help people, but, it might have the unintended side effect of giving them slightly more power. But no, 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 no. The only reason why Trump is president is because of the broken electoral college. That is the only reason why Trump is president. Hillary Clinton got more votes. And this motherfucker's going to say, oh, the statehood and all the rigging the election. Really? 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 What a fucking moron. And if you fall for this argument, you're also a fucking moron. Thank you for watching. Go watch some of my other videos. They're also pretty fucking good.